Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is my first run review of the Adidas Terrex Agravic speeds, and yeah, I did a run today, 16 miles, just shy of 2,000 foot of elevation climb, and it was over basically forest trails. So it was a mix of, it's drying out now, which is great, but there are still some wet areas. But the vast majority of it was dry sort of trails. It was over roots, it was over mud, all sorts of stuff, stones. And I was really looking forward to this run because basically this is the first time I've run in trail shoes which have got the Light Strike Pro midsole. And I did have the Ultras equivalent of these, the next one's up, but I had to send those back. So these ones came in. Let's run through a few specs because there's very few reviews of this on the internet, and so I want this to add a lot of value because obviously there's not much out there. So yeah, so specs, I'd say it's true to size. This is a UK size 9, and so it's true to size and it fits fine for me. I've got quite wide size 9 feet. The drop is 8mm drop, so it's 35 in the heel with a 27 in the forefoot. So it's quite an aggressive drop, so it really sort of leans you forward quite a lot onto that mid forefoot. Weight wise, it's 238 grams approximately per shoe, and I weighed them both and they're pretty much both bang on that exact same amount, which is always quite nice to see that there is consistency between the left and right foot. Full coverage, continental outsole, there's 3 and 4mm lug, so in the sort of midsection centre it's 3, and then the sort of outsides it goes up to 4. So it's quite small lugs, but which can be quite nice for sort of dry trails, but you do notice it when it gets a little bit wet. They can get a bit slippy, but generally, because it's full coverage as well, it's quite nice. So it's good protection right the way through without any exposed EVA. But it's enough when the trails dry out. And yeah, so midsole, we're looking at Light Strike Pro from back right to the front. And then around the outside, you've got this sort of rim, sort of on the top half of Light Strike, which is a slightly firmer foam, which stabilizes it and gives the sort of bucket-like seat for your feet to sort of sit into. But the foam underneath your foot is Light Strike Pro, which is the good stuff really, which is one of the main reasons I bought this shoe really, because I really like the Takumi Sen 9, which is full Light Strike Pro, similar sort of stack, but that has rods in. This one doesn't have any carbon rods or sort of plastic rods or anything, it's just the foam. The width, I did find after 16 miles, there's an overlay on the inside here. You can see it, it's just on the inside. Now, because I've got quite wide feet, that became a little bit of a hot spot, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. It's not as bad as like the North Face with the sort of carbon wing that comes up, but hopefully that should break in a little bit with time. But generally, this is a size 9. It fit okay. They're not the widest, but they're wide enough just about, which is, for a race shoe, you want a sort of precision fit in a way. You don't want it to be too sloppy. Basically, today's run, 16 miles, about 2,000 foot of climb. Really nice run. They felt really snappy. So with regards to the laces, they're really nice laces, a little bit too long, but they do have that sort of ridge to it, which helps it sort of lock in once it's done. I would also say that it's worth getting a really good lockdown to bring your heel back in, locked into that heel counter there, just so that it's on the descents you're not sort of sliding forward and you don't get any sort of slippage at the back here, because there's not much in the heel to really grip the back there, so make sure that a lockdown's good before you start your run. Yeah, semi-gusseted tongue, it's quite short tongues though, but it's enough to sort of save weight. The drainage, I don't know if you see it, is very fine mesh, but it's got great drainage and breathability, and so if you had any sort of got it wet, it would drain really quickly, which is good, and also saves on weight. Fixed sort of footbed inside, so that's actually fixed. It's quite a thin one, but you've got Light Strike Pro underneath that, so that's going to give you a bit of comfort, save a bit of weight as well without any sort of sliding around. So the main thing really, I guess, is the ride, how it felt. So it's pretty lightweight, so I could wear this for racing, so it's, you know, the 238 grams per shoe. It's great for sort of high cadence runners because it makes you feel quite nimble going up and down the hills, and when you're on the road sections or the sort of hard pack tracks, it feels like you're almost wearing a road shoe, and you've got that sort of snappy Light Strike Pro bounce. It's quite a firm foam, but it's a nice one that you know you're not going to bottom out either. When you hit any sort of sharp stones or roots or anything, you're not going to bottom out on there, unlike some other shoes which you can actually feel the whatever it is coming up from the bottom, because the foam is firm. Love the Light Strike Pro, feels snappy, propulsive, a bit like a road shoe, especially on firm trails. Wet muds are sliding around a bit with so it's mainly for dry trails. So it's similar sort of thickness in terms of the midsole as the Tecton X2, so you could take it for longer distances as well. Another comparison I've used is the Zinal 2s, which is even lighter, but that one did bottom out a few times, and that one needed a bit of a rock plate, but this one I don't think needs it because there's enough foam underneath there to not warrant a rock plate. It's quite a high stack at the heel, so when you're coming down the hills, and if you do end up by heel striking, you've got a lot of cushioning there to roll off into the forefoot, so that's nice to have enough of a firm foam and also thick enough in the heels, so you could take that for longer distances. Downhills, uphills, it's great. I think my pace today was about 7 minutes 34 per mile, and that was quite a lot of elevation, and sort of it was trails as well. It basically, when you went onto roads, it actually felt like a road shoe, and so I tried to go off them slightly because I didn't want to sort of wear the lugs out. Generally, it actually felt absolutely fine on roads, so I wouldn't worry about that. It's a very good road to trail shoe, but it depends how much you want to look after the lugs and stop them from wearing down. It felt great to have the Light Strike Pro foam under my feet on trails, which is the main reason I bought it. I don't think this needs the carbon rods, but I guess that's when you go up to the Ultra version, which has got an even thicker stack, but there's not enough stack here for the rods to sort of fit in really, but you get a good balance of ground feel. And in terms of distance, I'd probably take it up to maybe maximum 50 miles. 50k would be a good sort of sweet spot or below. Overall, I'm really happy. It's a nice shoe. It's an exciting shoe. It's good for hills, and you can pick up the pace and you're going to get that pop off. I hope that the upper sort of breaks in around those overlay points so I don't get any hot spots in the future. It's great to have Light Strike Pro under my feet on trails, finally. Anyway, thanks for watching, and tune in for the next one, and yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.